Is no code obsolete in 2025?
Wir waren mit einem Teil unseres Teams auf dem diesjährigen No-Code Summit in Paris, der größten Konferenz zum Thema Softwareentwicklung mit No- und Low-Code. Und ich möchte dich in diesem ja schon vlogartigen Video ein bisschen mit auf den Trip nehmen und natürlich die Frage beantworten, ist 2025 das Ende für No-Code, weil Software nur noch mit AI generiert wird? Das No-Code Summit hat jetzt das 3. Mal stattgefunden und es waren an den 2 Tagen mehr als 3000 Menschen vor Ort. Darunter natürlich auch die bekanntesten No-Code-Anbieter und deren CEOs, die uns Frage und Antwort gestanden haben. Darüber hinaus gab es beide Tage diverse Vorträge rund um das Thema, wobei natürlich auch AI voll im Fokus lag. Außerdem ging es aber auch viel darum, wie No- und Low-Code in Konzernen eingesetzt werden kann und dafür alle sicherheitsrelevanten Anforderungen erfüllt. Vor allen Dingen war es aber auch der perfekte Zeitpunkt, um neue Features für die einzelnen Plattformen anzukündigen und davon gab es wirklich zahlreiche. An vielen Stellen fiel der Begriff Visual Development, der als Weiterentwicklung des Begriffs No-Code gilt, aber sich trotzdem dem gegenüber abgrenzt. Hören wir doch mal rein, was der Xano CEO dazu gemeint hat.
So these days you're talking a lot about visual development.
Yes, I am.
What does the term mean and what's the difference compared to no code?
Yeah, so first of all, you should be very happy because you're visual makers, first of all. But secondly, we believe that no code, low code generally has a lot of baggage associated with it. When you think about no code, low code, sometimes, especially when you get to enterprise organizations, they feel like it's limited. It can't scale. It's not secure. It's not reliable. So our tools have matured so much. We believe that our language should mature as well. We don't want to live in a world where no code sometimes means no developers, because as we all know, that's a recipe for disaster. So let's evolve the language as well.
Visual Development ist also die Weiterentwicklung von No-Code. Dabei gehen wir selbst auch schon oft genug mit Anwendungen wie WeWeb und Xano über die Grenzen von No-Code hinaus, sodass der Begriff eigentlich auch schon lange nicht mehr zutreffend ist. No-Code ist außerdem durch extrem viele Vorurteile geprägt, sodass Plattformen wie Xano diesem einfach nicht mehr gerecht werden. Denn Tools wie diese sind sehr wohl stabil, sicher und zuverlässig, auch in größeren Einsatzgebieten. Es gibt kaum Anwendungsfälle, die nicht umgesetzt werden können und hinter der Entwicklung stehen eben oftmals, genau wie bei uns, ausgebildete Developer, die ihr Handwerk verstehen. Trotzdem nutzen wir diese Tools, weil sie unsere Arbeit effizienter machen und mehr Transparenz und Nachvollziehbarkeiten für Kunden schaffen. Dann die Frage, die wohl auch dich am meisten beschäftigt. Wird AI No-Code zukünftig überflüssig machen? Wir hatten die Gelegenheit, diese Frage an die CEOs von Make, WeWeb, Xano, Softr und Bubble zu stellen und die Antworten möchten wir dir natürlich nicht vorenthalten.
With the current AI trend, the most important question is, will no code be obsolete in 2025 because of AI?
Absolutely not. I firmly believe that AI, while it can help accelerate, can't build software for you. You need a visual canvas to pick up where the AI leaves off, because I do not believe that prompting is the right way to edit software. The other piece is trust but verify. A lot of people are just copy and pasting code that the AI will generate, but you actually need to be able to understand what's happening. And we believe that visual development tools are the right canvas to do that in.
I think AI will actually be an accelerator of software development itself and of no code as well. And so we're seeing that trend already happening. You're seeing AI software platforms being developed for developers specifically. And you are also seeing editors like us integrating AI capabilities, to help non-developers actually harness the power of AI, right? And there is this adage we're saying, what you don't build, you don't own.
Yeah.
And if you are a non-developer, building with AI directly and getting code as an output, you just don't understand it, you don't own it, you don't control it. And I think, adding a visual programming layer on top of AI will actually make sure, ensure that non-programmer will own what they will have built.
So I think actually no-code part with AI is going to be more powerful and make 100 times more builders than we would have just with no-code, just because I think no-code enables people build products and AI is a tool to do it faster, easier, and actually do lots of the work for the user. I don't think AI alone is going to be used to just software building, just because there's lots of nuances, lots of maintenance, continue iterating, etc. But I think AI and no code coupled will be more powerful, and that's what we'll see in the next year.
I think there is a bit of a fantasy with AI, which is people imagine that just by writing some natural language, they'll get exactly what they want. I don't think that's ever going to happen. And it's not going to happen not because the AI is not smart enough. It's going to happen because the humans that use AI are not good enough at expressing what they want. To be very clear, here I'm speaking a little bit in a complicated manner, but it's very hard to just write on paper what you need when it's about building an application. And as a result, AI is great to get the first version. That's what we call the day one, of your AI journey. But when you have for day two, which is when you have to start modifying the application, because it's never going to be exactly what you have in mind. Users are going to have complaints. Maybe you didn't think about one particular case that you need to handle. You're going to have to modify the application. And modifying that with code means you have to be a coder. So we're back to basically why we started Bubble in the first place. So I think to be clear, AI and no code, I think are far superior than AI plus code. And in some ways, I think AI and code will make code irrelevant. But just give us a few weeks to release our first version of Bubble Assist to do that.
Fabian, mit dem AI-Trend, der jetzt immer größer wird und auch in vielen No-Code-Tools Einhalt findet, glaubst du, dass No-Code nächstes Jahr überflüssig sein wird aufgrund von AI?
Die kurze Antwort ist nein. Die längere Antwort ist, ich glaube, es ist eher so, dass dadurch die Nutzung von AI noch viel mehr enabled werden kann. Also was wir heute sehr viel sehen schon, ist, dass unglaublich viele Kunden, also bestimmt über ein Fünftel aller unserer Kunden, mittlerweile AI direkt in die Workflows bauen. Und das ist eben der Unterschied zwischen, ich prompte ein System und kriege einfach in einem Chat-Interface was zurück, versus jedes Mal, wenn so eine Transaktion reinkommt, kann ich das System prompten, API-basiert, und baue das in den Workflow. Ja. Klar, AI wird sich weiterentwickeln und ich habe dann mehr als nur Conversational AI in the future und dann kommen Agents und andere Sachen. Aber auch die brauchen wieder so einen Rapper. Und da glaube ich ganz fest dran.
I actually don't think it's going to have much impact in that sense. I think AI has shown a lot of really interesting use cases, especially for assistance with coding. But I've yet to see any examples of it being able to replace a programmer. So with tools like ChatGPT, Claude, Cursor using these really well, we're seeing that software developers writing code can have a lot of assistance, but you always still need to understand the code. Like, they're fun toys for someone who doesn't know code, but you can't really build much. You reach a point where you always need to understand what the AI is doing. And I don't think that's going to change anytime soon. As a human that needs to understand what's happening, to have some sort of control of what the output is going to be. I actually think that there's a really interesting opportunity with visual development and AI, where when we can start getting AI to produce good content for visual development tools, like, for example, Toddle, I think there's a real double benefit there of the power and speed of AI with the ease of use and sort of guardrails and help of a visual development platform. So I think they'll work together a lot better than in competition, to be honest.
No-Code und AI gehen also Hand in Hand. Softwareentwicklung nur von AI abhängig zu machen, ist nur dann sinnvoll, wenn du das Ergebnis, welches die AI produziert, lesen und verstehen kannst. Anforderungen für eine Applikation in einen Prompt zu übergeben, gestaltet sich schwieriger, als man es sich vielleicht vorstellen mag. Es wird viele Iterationen benötigen, bis man überhaupt das Ergebnis bekommt, was man erzielen möchte. Und auch dann ist die Wartbarkeit im Fehlerfall schwierig, wenn man keine Ahnung von Softwarearchitektur und Datenbanken hat. Denn der Teufel liegt meistens im Detail. Features wurden natürlich auch eine Menge vorgestellt und angeteasert. Bubble zum Beispiel entwickelt die nächste Iteration des eigenen AI-Assistenten zum automatisierten Entwickeln von Mobile- und Web-Applikationen.
It's going to be a bot that you can interact with to get the first version of your application. But then again, what you're going to get is not exactly what you have in mind, because it just can be. And so you have the bubble editor to modify things. And we're hoping to release the first version of this by the end of the year, but it's still alpha. It's going to take some time to iterate. I think with AI, it's important to not go too fast. You can make very fancy announcements and disappoint a lot of people.
Softr wird zukünftig ein eigenes Backend besitzen und Konnektoren zu anderen Backend-Services erweitern.
Yes, so 3 main things, which I also just shared in my talk. So Softr is going to go full stack, become a full stack solution. One, we also will have our own workflows. We will launch the first version, basic version in next year, beginning of next year. Second, databases. We also are going to have our own databases. So there's lots of customers that come to us that don't have the data anywhere, or it's in paper, pen and paper, emails, spreadsheets. So that's the second. And third, also AI embedded in the platform. So using AI as a tool to make building even simpler and easier compared to what we have now. And wherever it can help the product and help the builders.
There will be some announcements today, but maybe you can give us a little bit of sneak peek.
Yes.
Right
First,
now?
I want you to all to come to my talk, but the first thing is around overcoming the cold start problem. So really making it easy to get started quickly. So being able to say, I want to build this type of application and having Xano automatically create the database tables and the APIs for you. That's step one. But the second step, which we'll talk about at the announcement, is figuring out a way to truly let visual development pick up where AI leaves off, which is really almost introducing kind of a language that LLMs are able to understand. So that's coming soon, and there's a lot of more AI development that's going to be coming with Xano.
Xano stellte Actions in Form von vorgebauten Integrationen vor, die mit wenigen Klicks in eigene Workflows implementiert werden können. Dazu mit Scripts noch eine eigene, leichtgewichtige und menschenleserliche Sprache, als auch kostenlose Zertifizierung. Dann noch WeWeb, die sprechen von der nächsten Generation des eigenen Editors mit AI-Integration auf allen Ebenen.
By the next 6 months, I would say, we'll actually infuse AI everywhere on the platform, and the AI will help you build your UI, out of a prompt, and it will be contextualized. So it will have your design system as a context, and it will build UI for you. So it will build your pages. It will build logic as well. So it will build workflows. It will be coupled with functions, obviously, and it will be able to do some back and forth with your backend, because backend they expose metadata APIs, and so we can also have an impact from the prompt in the front end to the backend. So in the backend, we'll be also able through WeWeb to actually manage your authentication permissions, to create some tables in your database, that type of things. And so I think you'll be able to do a lot of things directly from WeWeb using AI.
There's also, I would say, without being too unreasonable, a lot of really bad examples of AI being used in development tools. So a lot of times it looked a bit like people added AI to their platform just to have AI. And we didn't want to do that. So our very first step was we created a chatbot that we trained on all our documentation, transcription of our YouTube videos, and all the content on our help Discord channel, that you can ask for help in learning how to toddle works, right? And so it's not a generative AI in the sense that it generates toddle content yet, but it's a really good assistant to help you learn toddle. And our next step is then working out how we can use this to also help you as you're developing toddle applications. That's something we're working on right now, and we've got some really promising results, but we don't actually want to release it until we think it's good enough. And it's got to be really good before people should spend time on it.
No-Code und AI gehen Hand in Hand und dieses Jahr war erst der Anfang.